To reflect the object in Illustrator, you need to first select the item. So I'm going to go get my regular selection tool and click on that object. Now there's a couple ways to do it. The first way the book has you do it is manually. So to do it manually, I'm going to go find the reflection tool. It lives underneath the rotate tool over on the side of my toolbar there. It looks like a triangle pointing to another triangle. And then I'm going to come over here, and this is actually a couple different steps that have to happen here. First, since I need to determine which side do I want to reflect it across, I'd like this to flip itself right over and be a mirror image on the right-hand side. So I'm going to take my mouse in here. Notice since I have the object selected, my mouse looks like it's ready to start. I'm going to give it a click directly on that line somewhere on the right-hand side and do a click. Then I'm going to come down here. Now before I do the next step, I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift, so that will give me a copy when I do this, and then I'm going to flip it over, just moving my mouse a tiny bit. I just moved it a tiny bit to the left, and I can now lift my mouse finger up before my other fingers. The Shift key kept it straight when it went across. It moved it over 180 degrees from where it was. The Alt key or the Option key made a duplicate. So now if I click off of it with my selection tool, I'll see I have the two halves together. It's supposed to look like a basketball court. I'm going to select the whole thing by stretching across it all and doing a Command G or a Control G to group it together. That's the keyboard shortcut for Object Group. And that's the reflection tool on step 2 and 3 on page 128, 129. Now I'm going to undo that and show you another way to do the same thing. Undo, undo, reflect. Now I have just one object. I'm going to select it again. I like this method better when I'm doing a straight selection like 180 degrees because it's more exact and it's using the dialog box. So I'm going to go get the reflection tool. This time, when I bring my mouse over onto the page, I'm going to hold my Alt or my Option key down before I do my first click. And see the little dot, dot, dot that's growing out behind the mouse? When I go over there to that line, that's setting the plane that I want to reflect it across, the position I want to reflect it across. Keeping my Alt or my Option key down, I'm going to click my mouse right in that spot, and it gives me a dialog box. And now I want to tell it I want to make a vertical reflection, and I want to make a copy. And now I have both items there. It's perfectly matched over. It's easier to do. That step is discussed in the tip near the bottom of page 128, and I'm going to select both of those pieces again by surrounding them all with my selection tool, and then go to Object and do a group. So that concludes reflecting objects on page 128 and 129.